How many times have you heard this song, Ashley?
Hey everyone, welcome back to another week of Community Conversations. My name is Dr. Andrew Gonzalez, Assistant Director here at Cal State Fullerton Center for Internships and Community Engagement. And I'm joined by Ashley Jones, our Partnerships Coordinator. Now again, this is week 3, and finally we get a chance to jump on in and bring to you some of our favorite employers, our valued partners who've been doing such a great job hosting our internship sites here at Cal State Fullerton. And today we have Frida Cinema, and they've been a longtime partner. They oftentimes tell us a lot of great things about academic internships. And specifically, you're going to hear in a few moments from Logan Crow, who's the executive director of that organization. But I just want to make sure that we go over a little bit about what the purpose is. Some of you are brand new. You're joining us here every Wednesday here on Facebook and YouTube Live at 2 p.m. We're going to bring you our partners, employers, companies, corporations, small nonprofits, boutique firms, you name it, people that want to bring Cal State Fullerton students in for virtual internships. And I'm sure you have if you've been looking and searching in Titan Connection, that finding a virtual internship can be pretty difficult. But beyond virtual internships, gang, this is also a part of you connecting with individuals who have experience making decisions about people that get hired for internships. What's the best strategies for moving in your career? Things like how to create a better resume, or what do employers look for while at the internship site. So if you want to learn firsthand how to maximize your experience at an internship, this is where you want to be. Again, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. here on Facebook and YouTube Live. Ashley, can you tell us a little bit more about our guest today?
Sure. We're very, very excited today to have Logan Crow. He's the executive director of the Frida Cinema. He's going to dive into more about what the organization is, what kind of internships that they have to offer there. But when we were bringing on some of our employees and community partners for our community conversations, Logan was the first person I thought of, just because he's been such a great partner for us, and he has nothing but things to say about Cal State Fullerton interns, and I think that speaks to the opportunities that he's able to provide at the Frida. They've hosted over 25 of our interns in the past few years. They actually have a handful of students there now. Working there, they were in person. With the transition to virtual internships, decided to dive into more about everything that the Frida has to offer. So I'd like to introduce everyone to Logan Crow from the Frida Cinema.
All right.
Hello.
Well, Logan,
how are you?
Great to have you here.
Hi, Logan.
Logan's joining us from his home. Logan, I got to admit, dude, this is great. This is our first time getting a chance to bring in a partner. We're in quarantine, right? But we can do so much with the tools that we have. And I think this is really a cornerstone of what you train interns to do, and that you and your own background have. So, first question for us, obviously, for those that have heard, those that haven't heard, tell us a little bit about Frida Cinema.
Sure. So the Frida Cinema is Orange County's sole nonprofit art house theater. And by art house theater, these are institutions that exist purely for the love of cinema. So not necessarily to make a buck or to play mainstream films and sure thing films and follow the studio system, but basically serve communities as cultural centers and museums of cinema, if that makes sense. So a lot of classics, a lot of international and documentary, short films, anime, student films, local films, basically everything that the folks may want to see and experience that isn't part of the cinematic mainstream. And we were founded in 2014, still going strong. We're 2 auditoriums, and we're located in downtown Santa Ana.
Excellent.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that, we had a chance to visit Frida Cinema not too long
We
ago.
did.
It was actually a few months ago before COVID struck, if you will. And we
Yeah.
had a chance to tour this location. And I know there's a lot of history with this location. Tell us a little bit more about, where Frida, that's the background and some of the accomplishments that you've had.
Sure. I mean, I've been personally a film lover all my life, and have spent a lot of my formative years inside art house theaters, and I've always found them to be a home where I felt comfortable and where I felt very inspired, but soon found out that there's a whole culture of people who love art house cinema and who consider their community's art house cinema sort of like their cultural church in a way. And I've also been lucky to volunteer at and familiarize myself with art house theaters who do an amazing job complementing the larger artistic and cultural presence of their community. So partnering with academic academies, partnering with other nonprofits, looking for ways to go outside of their four walls to bring film and the arts out into communities. I've always found that very inspiring. And so from very early on, I started to work, either work or volunteer with art houses, started first a website called Mondo Celluloid that was dedicated to supporting LA's sort of cult cinema and art house scene, which then led to the formation of Long Beach Cinematheque, where we did a lot of outdoor films and cemetery screenings and the Long Beach Zombie Walk and just sort of big fun cultural events that were very community minded. And then ultimately that led to the formation of what would become the Frida Cinema in downtown Santa Ana, where all those ideas could finally be sort of put in one place. And it's a dream come true for me. But what's been the most exciting is to see how it's been a dream come true for so many, the volunteers that work there, the staff, the patrons that come visit us. That's our marquee right there. And I think it's a good indicator of sort of the variety of the films that we play and our focus on diversity, everything from kids matinees to midnight cult films, our film club members, giving them free opportunities to see films like 2001. We have 2 screens and we're there 7 days a week. And so part of the fun is just trying to identify how we can month after month meet different needs, meet different interests, and have fun with our programming. Our audience tends to skew college to mid-20s, let's say. I mean, certainly we see kids, we see all the way from kids to seniors, but I would say obviously, definitely our high school college to mid-20s is our biggest audience. And they have that commonality. They love film. They love sort of going to films, not just watching films at home or whatnot, but just that culture of seeing films on the big screen, dressing up, cosplay to celebrate their favorite classics. We love all that. We love how people make a home for themselves at the Frida and bring their own passions to really feel and come as they are and just enjoy a film and be surrounded by community.
Thank you. Yeah, that's incredible. And like Andrew said, we had the privilege to come out and visit a few months ago, and you can feel that environment when you step right in with the murals and just the overwhelming feeling of it being home and welcoming. And it's a very different environment that I've seen in just the movie and cinema world. So, and everything that you've spoken of before sounds like you do it all in the world of cinema.
It's an art form. It's an art form that I think deserves to be celebrated and deserves to be honored. I think that film sometimes gets a bad rap because of the studio system. But that's true of any art form. That's true of music. That's true of graphic design. That's true of cooking. I mean, it will always be at its core an art form, and an art form that is comprised of hundreds of artists doing what they do best, from lighting to sound to costume design to performance to directing to writing, all coming together to create a product. And I think those films need to be celebrated. I think every film deserves to be seen on the big screen, whether it's from a studio or whether it's from a filmmaker in Fullerton, or a student. I always look at it as we are very much a museum. At your traditional museum, you hang up a picture. At our museum, we hang up pictures that move and make sounds for 90 minutes to 3 hours, whatever it is. They are pieces of art, and we enjoy sharing them.
Great. So you've sold it to me so far of why I would want to be involved. But for all of our students out there who are looking for internships, can you tell us a little bit about the internships that you have offered in the past and then maybe are starting to evolve to offer now?
Sure. The nice thing about the Frida is that there's a lot kind of all going on at once. So we are a nonprofit, and along with that comes grant writing, comes sponsorship activation, our membership, our film club membership, speaking with them, programming for them, identifying creative ways to market, because we aren't part of a big chain that's got millions of dollars of marketing money. We don't buy a lot of ads. We're very social media minded. So creative graphic design, that moves into the theater part of it and the marketing part of it. We are consistently creating graphics, creating moving graphics, Instagram stories, special trailers that are built just for the theater, to promote the theater and or to promote a program or a series or a film. And so there are opportunities kind of across the board for interns. I would say that our biggest sort of source or opportunities for interns are in creative media, graphic design, motion animation, Instagram stories, creative video editing. But then our blogs are very popular. So we have the Frida Cinema blog, which is completely volunteer run. Our Cal State Fullerton writing interns contribute to the blogs. Jason Clark, who is a current intern from Fullerton, contributed his very first blog, The Films That Influenced Me. We work with our interns to give them, the writing interns, to give them opportunities to share their passions and also get their name out there and published on a website that they can then point to and say this is a published work through their internship. We have past interns that sometimes will send us a piece that we're happy to publish. And as a matter of fact, we have interns that even aren't part of our writing internship staff, who are maybe graphic designers or grant writers, who sometimes will be like, hey, Max von Sydow just passed away. I would love to write something about him. Absolutely. That's the whole point of the blog, is to give our students who are interested in, whether it's a career interest in writing or just they want to share, an opportunity to be published on the site and talk about their passions. So really, it's sort of a spectrum. Grant writing, that's a big one. We had a wonderful grant writing intern last semester. Research, and obviously, and I'm sure we'll get to that, things have changed and we've had to adapt with the times, but most of that still stands, and most of that are still positions that we need.
Well, speaking of positions, and it sounds like that even when we weren't in a quarantine phase, that there's so much to do at Frida Cinema and the services you provide for our community. But we know that in the last few months, life has changed, well, dramatically.
Yes.
And even our way of life of things, right? How we go about doing work and just our procedures for keeping everyone safe and the things that people do in their daily lives. And over the last few months, Ashley and I, we did our best to find sites just like yours, partners who are willing to come alongside us and help provide our students with virtual academic internships. So Logan, our next question, very critical for the students that are listening here. Tell us about your experience hosting these virtual type of internships.
Well, the good news was that about a year and a half ago, we started to really embrace virtual conversation within our team. So Slack, Asana for task management, partly because the nature of our staff, we have a very small staff. We have a staff of 4, 2 of which, by the way, went to Cal State Fullerton. So, but we have a staff of 4, and they work different times. So we don't have the traditional, we didn't have the traditional work schedule where all the staff is there at the same time every day. So we were already embracing Slack and Asana. So when everything shifted in March and we already had a team of interns, we basically were already using Slack as a communication tool. So the real big shift is obviously we're now working from home. Everyone's at home, safely working, but we are all on Asana. We're all communicating on Slack every day. We have scheduled meetings. Sometimes they meet with the whole staff. Sometimes they meet with the head of their department. And and really sort of the focus of the work has changed a little bit in the sense of what is being promoted and what we're programming, but the work sort of continues to be the same, which is designing creative content to promote, scheduling, marketing, press releases, a little bit of everything that we generally do, but just not focused on films that we're playing at the theater, but focused on films that we're playing either on our streaming platforms or at our new roaming drive-in series.
And so with all of that fun, those kind of experiences, and they cover a really wealth of backgrounds. We're looking at digital media. We're looking at entertainment. You mentioned nonprofit management. In fact, students can actually serve alongside you and learn a lot about management. So even if you're in the business area, you don't necessarily have to be entertainment minded, because Logan has a really strong background. I mean, it was accounting as well, business, just the whole gamut. Are you offering internships going into the fall term as well?
We are, and as a matter of fact, some of those slots are already full because I participated in your amazing sort of what is it? What was, I don't remember what you call it, but the 10-minute. I forget what it was called, but it was a really cool event where organizations
I think
could
it
come
was
in.
the virtual career fair.
Virtual career fair. Thank you.
Right, the virtual career fair.
And met a lot of great individuals who were looking into the future for fall. So we are accepting fall interns, and there are still slots available. Yeah, we're accepting internships into the future. How we're rolling with the changes, as I'm sure everybody is. I mean, right now it looks pretty clear that fall semester will be virtual as well. But again, there are opportunities to work, and we're pretty communicative on the Slack in terms of assignments and follow through. And again, are always very interested in, what happens, I think, every semester is the more the interns are involved with us, the longer they are with us, they start to identify ideas and they're inspired to suggest things. And we are always all ears. We are very vocal about that. And so there's been a lot that's been sort of presented from the interns that we've been able to incorporate. And so, it's a focus for us to make sure that the distancing, that not being able to be together in the theater, that we're still communicating, that we're still able to provide the interns with the experience that they are interested in, and that we are accessible.
And what I love about your approach to things is not just in the theater area itself, not just in the business, but you're very creatively minded. In fact, as a result of the different changes in our environment, tell us about, you had a drive-in experience. So instead of people coming into the theater, you actually decided to do something really drive-in related, which we haven't done in many years. Yeah. And now we get a chance to, in some nostalgia, experience that again.
Yeah, I can't say that I decided to keep going because that involves some sort of conscious choice. It's just in my nature to not accept defeat. So I think that as soon as COVID started to rear its ugly head and it was looking clear that we were going to have an issue and probably have to close for a while, I immediately started to think, okay, well, how do we keep the show going? How do we keep films out there and the community engaged in such a way that is safe and distant? And drive-in seemed an obvious sort of answer to that. We already had outdoor equipment for when we used to do garden style events. We just didn't have an FM transmitter and some other things, which we quickly invested in and started our pop-up drive-in series. The pop-up drive-in series has been going extremely well. The idea of it is that we take our equipment into various locations and various communities and bring the drive-in experience to those communities. So we've done La La Land at Newport Dunes. We've been on the baseball diamond of a wonderful school in Anaheim called Zion Lutheran, which we're coming back to with 8 new events, which we'll be announcing, I think, today or tomorrow on our website. We've been on First American's parking lot, downtown Santa Ana, at the Ebell lot. And, the idea is let's take the show on the road, literally, and bring drive-ins to communities. We have all the equipment down to the power. It's really, our effort is to make it as impactless to the venue. Just unlock your gate, lock up when we're done. We take care of everything with a focus on safety, with a focus on making sure that there is as little interaction as needs to be. We're very, very thorough in our marketing as to what people need to know. And it's been great. It's been an amazing way to keep our programming alive, keep us engaged with our community, to see our regulars through their windshields or their windows, and also to meet new people and to meet new communities and new venues. And there's, yeah, so right there, there's Raiders of the Lost Ark on the rooftop of the First American parking lot on the 4th of July. So that was incredible because, you know, you're watching Raiders and there's fireworks popping up all around you. You know, we can't take credit for just how magical that part of it was, but we were hoping you'd see the fireworks off that roof, and boy, could you. So, you know, but it's a lot of, again, the challenges are, but plenty, but the, you know, one of the big ones is we do not have a robust marketing budget. So if we have been very successful with those events, it is because we are very, very prolific on our social media. Our social media is what built us. It's what sustains us. It's how we get the word out. And that is a group effort by all means. We have one marketing director. That's the amazing Jordan. Jordan works with her team of interns and, you know, is great, meets with them weekly on Zoom, gives them their assignments. There's writing involved, photography, photo editing. But it allows these things to happen. And I like telling our volunteers and our interns, you know, we used to have a print calendar that obviously it's been since March since we've had that kind of programming, but we would sometimes show up to 40 films in a single month, more sometimes. And I would explain to them that if not for their volunteer time and their volunteered skills, there is no way that we could present the content of films that we present and the number of films and the kinds of films, because their volunteer time and effort allows us to focus as much of our funding as we can to programming, to keeping the films on screens, to keeping the drive-ins going. That is why our paid team is so small. It really goes a lot farther than just the experience of it and helping with marketing. It really makes the Frida possible, and it makes what we do possible. And I think that every volunteer and intern needs to know that at their core, they're part of what makes all of this possible. So we are very, very grateful to our interns and volunteers, and are always standing by to help out in any way we can.
You know,
it's a huge part of our success.
And you know, as I hear you talk, I want to see something. You know, it's like everyone wants to see something demonstrative. And when it comes to virtual internships, people have their skepticism, and I don't blame students that they would have theirs as well. But you have a video here of an intern of a product that they were able to do, and we thought it was fantastic. You want to go ahead and kind of open us up there?
So. And this was a surprise for me. So we had our 5th anniversary coming up, and we had scheduled a whole event, and we were going to play Casablanca. We had food and everything. And before the event, the staff came up to me and said, "Hey, Logan, sit down. We've got something for you." And it turned out that one of our volunteers, and mind you, this was a high school volunteer, Kiefer Blakesley, put this video together. He was inspired to put this video together shortly after our mural was completed to celebrate our 5th anniversary. And so I sat down with the rest of the audience, not knowing what to expect, didn't even know that they were working on this. And my mind was blown. I love this piece, and so I'm glad you want to share it.
Absolutely. For those of you that are watching, by the way, we are here on social media. If you have any questions in the comments section, in a few moments, we're going to be jumping and giving you a chance to ask Logan some questions. But right now, take a look at this video.
When we go to the theater and empathize with those people who are not ourselves, it makes us better people, more broad-minded, more able to understand what's right with the world and what's wrong with the world. It creates our ability to step out of our own shoes.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, am I on mute? Sorry.
Andrew, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, Andrew, I can't hear you.
You're right.
There you
The
are.
beauty of
Sorry.
live broadcast. Maybe that was my way of
Oh,
testing you.
Woo!
But that was a fantastic. I guess the video, though, it's very compelling and nostalgic driven. A lot of it deals with the mural, and there's some history. There's something important about this mural, right?
yeah, sorry, and I got a little bit of a clamp. I haven't actually. Every one of those images and every one of those cuts brought back a memory. So those are all films we've played, and those are all films that most of them have a special resonance in some way or another, whether it was a Q&A or just something very memorable about the event, or it's something we themed up. But yeah, no, that mural is just an incredible gift. It was we received a grant from the John Griswold Foundation to do something with our lobby. It was a wonderful conversation we had with a foundation that had supported us in the past, and I just asked them. They said, we want to support you again, and I said, what would you like to see? What they've been kind enough to let us to give us unrestricted grants to use at our disposal. And just once I said, what would you like to see us apply this towards? And he said something very interesting. He said, I don't feel like your lobby communicates how incredible you guys are, and I don't think your lobby communicates what your organization represents. And we had these giant white walls that were just totally blank. What can we do with your lobby? And so, I just threw out the idea. So what about a mural? We've had this idea of like a tribute to art house cinema, a tribute to cult cinema, and a tribute to films that have had resonance here. And they loved the idea, and they reached out. The funder actually had a really good relationship with a couple of artists who, forgive me, I am blanking right now, and I hate this. So I might research their names because I want to acknowledge them. But it's been a few years now. Oh my gosh. And they spent 4 weeks. 4 weeks putting the mural up. They lived in the theater, basically. They were hard at work every day on scaffolds all day long, putting that together. First, they sketched it out with pencil. Then they went over and painted it all. And the process was just incredible. It was breathtaking to see when it's done. And to this day, we love having people come in and look up and see it and point out their favorite films and or sometimes ask what's that one or we give them a quiz like, hey, there's 3 performers that are up there twice, see if you can find them, things like that. But yeah, no, we're extremely proud of it.
Great. Yeah, we loved going to. I was going to ask you about, there was something that I remember you asked us to try to find, and it was the repeat actors that we tried to find up in the mural. So once we're able to open back up and you're able to have people back in the cinema, that's the challenge we have for everyone is to find the repeated actors in the mural.
Yeah, I failed, by the way, but I want to go back and win that challenge.
I know.
Yeah. No, it's great. I'm crazy proud of it. And Kiefer clearly was inspired to do that video, and my mind was blown. It was beautiful, as you saw. So.
Yeah, great to see the impact that both interns and your volunteers have on the cinema. And I know that there's a lot of students out there who would be totally drawn to what the cinema has to offer. And so you already said that you have had some interns fill your fall internship spots, but you still have some opportunities available. So I want to remind all the students out there that there are positions available through Titan Connection. You can go through some of our previous videos where we run through how to find those virtual internship opportunities. But if you just search in there for the Frida Cinema, you'll see the available opportunities. So Logan, when students are out there looking for those internships and they apply through Titan Connection, or maybe they even contact you personally, are there any tips or tricks that you have for those students on giving them the best chance at accepting or you offering an internship opportunity for them?
There are, and before I tell you that, I'm sorry, I'm a big proponent and believer that you must acknowledge your artists. So I was low key researching
Yes,
so
very
Trace
important.
Mendoza, and Rai Beloin. Trace Mendoza and Rai Beloin, their names are actually on the wall. Thank you. We love the mural. Okay, so
Trace, you are awesome. Ryan, you are great. Well done.
what's that? Yeah, no, that's just incredible. Yeah. So, going back, yes, I think more than anything, and this is generally one of the first things I do when I'm talking to someone who's interested in volunteering and interning is letting me know as straightforward as you can what you're interested in, whether that's as a career path. I want experience with this or that, or specifically with the Frida. I would love to contribute to this element of what you're doing. It really helps because for me, the more you are engaging yourself in something that you feel is going to advance you or that the experience is valuable for you, the happier I am, the happier you'll be, and the more we can give you those types of assignments. I so like I mentioned earlier, I volunteered a lot. I used to volunteer at a lot of art houses, and I'm a huge proponent of volunteerism because if I hadn't volunteered at art houses, my sudden epiphany of what I wanted to do for a living would have never come to me. All I knew is that I loved movies and that I loved to share them. There is no career of being a person who loves and wants to share movies until you realize that there is a career for that, which is to run an independent theater. The idea of that would never have occurred to me until I volunteered at these sorts of theaters. And so I want our volunteers to be very, very upfront with what are they enjoying? Are they inspired by something that they suddenly feel they want to participate with or create for us? Just talk to me about, and even if it's like, I am not sure what I want to do, I just know that I really love horror. Even that really helps because it's like, oh great, we have this horror email list that no one's running in for months. Would you like to run a horror? There are opportunities for pretty much every interest out there. There are, I believe in programming for a variety of interests, and that runs the gamut. I mean, and we have an anime newsletter list that we haven't been able to pick back up because we lost our anime loving intern a while back. So talk to me about what you're interested in. There may be a resume that comes in, and let's say we're filled. The graphic department is full up, and I get another one, but you specifically mentioned something where it's like, oh wait, there's room for that. We can create something for that. So that's my biggest piece of advice is, feel free to email me. I know that there is you guys have the portal where people can upload everything. You can also send an email my way, ask a question. Start in that informal way if you want. But if it looks good, then we'll get to the point of, all right, send me your resume and fill this out. But I want to make sure that your time here is valuable to you, and that you get what you need out of it, and that you enjoy yourself, because that's so key to me. And I think that the experience is obviously a lot more rewarding across the board that way. So that's what I would say. Just share your interests, share your passions.
And again, if you are interested and you want to apply to Frida Cinema, log into Titan Connection, simply type in Frida Cinema. These internships have been approved. I repeat, they have been approved for academic credit. So again, if you find something where you're in your degree of study, something that you've heard tonight or this afternoon from Logan, I would say just go and start now. Start now, gang, because as you heard, Logan, he's around. He was career fair, virtual career fair. He's on our Simplicity. I have no doubt he has many partners in the community, and it's not just Cal State Fullerton. Thank you for loving Cal State Fullerton, by the way, Logan. But there's a lot of great folks all around. So it is somewhat competitive. And I wouldn't doubt that there's going to be several dozens, if not quite a few more internship applications out there. So go on as soon as you can, apply for these internships. Frida Cinema, they're located in Santa Ana. There's their website, www.thefridacinema.org. So if you get a chance, you want to learn more, go ahead and visit their website. And before we jump into comments or questions, and before we conclude, Logan, What are some other opportunities going on right now, just in terms of Frida Cinema? In fact, you have something like a streaming opportunity that goes on throughout the coming months.
Yeah, so what we've been doing is we've had to, obviously, since our doors are closed, look at alternate ways of sharing cinema. And so we've done that in two major ways. One is with streaming films. There's our, so this was a Streamathon fundraiser that we did, where Trevor Dillon, our program director, sat down in front of a camera for 10 straight hours and talked to special guests and talked film as a means to raise funds for our organization when we close. And that logo, by the way, was designed by a Cal State Fullerton intern, Elena Gray, who was incredible. Elena, hope you're doing well. That was last semester. We are looking for avenues to stream new content as well as do the drive-ins. We promote all of that, again, very, very social media, website focused. So, for example, right now, this is a banner of all the different streaming films that are available off our site right now. That's on our website. If you were to click on one of those, it would, actually, no, we remodeled our website, but we send this out in social. You can click on one and it will tell you what about the film. But, again, we always need to identify creative ways to get the word out. What we're doing is we're talking to people. Essentially, our job is to reach out to film lovers and say to them, I understand you have Amazon and Netflix and Hulu and Criterion Channel, but here's a film you got to see. It's new. It's from Japan. It's amazing. And here's why. And communicate the message of, sell the film. In other words, all the films that we stream are incredible. We do not stream every film that comes our way. We get the submissions and Trevor reviews them, other people, and we select them because they are amazing. And part of that is not just to keep the show going for us, but because a lot of what we do is to support international and independent and documentary filmmaking. Without art houses, those films do not get a theatrical audience. And so it's important for us to try to really communicate why this is a film that someone should put their money down and experience. Again, that is the job of marketing. That is the job of press releases and websites and imagery. And then the drive-ins. Drive-ins are a little easier sell. It's a drive-in. It's the Goonies, whatever. That's, it's kind of a no-brainer, but we still do need to promote. There is still promotion involved. They're not as instant sellout as one might think. And so, it's a lot of marketing. It's a lot of messaging. And then again, going back to the nonprofit part of it, grant writing, researching sponsors, researching opportunities. There's, like I said, a little bit of opportunity for across the board. If you've got a computer and the internet and a phone at your disposal. And I know with Fullerton, you get the Adobe suite, so obviously a lot of creative design there. Good on you, Fullerton, for that. It's been a lot of shifting. We're not convinced that we're doing everything that we could be doing while we're closed. The drive-ins and the streaming have worked out well, but we sometimes look at other opportunities for streaming. Should we be doing streaming trivia nights? Our trivia nights are very popular at the Frida. We've been investigating how do we do a real cool streaming cinema. The big challenge right now is how do we keep people from cheating? I think we're going to get to the point where we realize there's just no way and we're just going to do it. But, having these conversations and identifying ways to come up with new things. I mean, you may be watching right now with an idea in your head and we'd love to hear that idea. We'd love to work with you on that idea. So that's really what it's about is, we are a space for idea celebration and idea incubation. And our interns are a huge part of that. I got to write that down.
But, you talked about
that for next time.
Sure.
Yeah, it would be. You talk about communicating through social media, and my apologies. My video is the beautiful thing of live TV, right? Then things come up.
You're gone. That's right. Okay.
I am good. But you mentioned social media, so tell us about your social media sites. Where can we find you?
So on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, we are at the Frida Cinema. Just like that, with the in there. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, the Frida Cinema. And, our social media, I mean, the moment that I think it was like 7 or 8 months before we opened. The moment we had a name, we started building up our social media. I knew that with no funds and with that it would be very word of mouth and very social media driven. So we have a following of I think well over 50,000 people across 3 sites, and we are active. We are extremely active on our social media every single day. Not just to promote. It's not just about promotion and marketing. It is engagement. It is to keep connected, especially right now. There isn't a day that would go by at work when we were open where we would have dialogues with people who would just come in, whether they were there to see a movie or not. Maybe they were passing by, hey, what's up? And oh my God, have you guys checked out the new season of Dark? It's insane. Oh my God, no, my mind's still melting. I just have conversations with people, we continue to do that on social media. Our social media is run by our marketing director, but she does have a couple of interns on there from Cal State Fullerton who are also engaging. Same with the Instagram. So it is another way that we're keeping human and connected and live with our community, which I think is really important right now.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Logan, for your time.
Thank you.
It
You're
was
welcome.
fun. And for those of you that are listening and watching right now, we're going to look at some of the comments. See if we do have any comments. I don't see anything right now. But Ashley, this is always that wonderful time in our broadcast that we get to share a little bit about what's coming up in the days ahead.
Yes, what's coming up. Again, thank you so much, Logan. This was such a pleasure. And we are looking forward to the next couple of weeks coming up. Again, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. throughout the summer. We are going to be doing something similar like we've just done with Logan for the next 2 weeks. Coming up July 22nd is Kids Sports News Network. So they're another great longtime partner that we've had that is currently hosting and recruiting for virtual internships. So they're going to come next week to tell us a little bit about what they have to offer as far as internships go. And then lastly, July 29th is Stand Up for Kids. And so that's a great youth serving organization. So if you're interested in nonprofit youth organizations in any types of fields, they have graphic design, there's human resources, there's lots of different opportunities involved there. So look forward to that. Again, we'll be live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. With Sports News Network and then Stand Up for Kids tonight.
Fantastic. And so I want to go ahead and say thank you again to Logan. And if you're looking at us on YouTube and you don't have our Facebook, feel free to go ahead and like us there on Facebook when you can. You can just simply visit our handle at cice.csuf. And then we're also available on YouTube if you're looking at us on Facebook. This is kind of a URL. We're still needing to reach that capacity. So if you can't subscribe to us, we want to be able to customize a URL. But fullerton.edu/CICE/YouTube. And you can go ahead and find us every week there. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate your time. If you do have any questions, again, you can find Logan's contact information on Simplicity. So there's your mission, should you choose to accept it. Jump on Time Connection, jump on Simplicity, email Logan, or you can contact us at the CICE at cice@fullerton.edu. We thank you again, and we look forward to seeing every single one of you soon. Tell your friends, tell your family, and have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Logan.
Thank you.